Welcome back to Second Skin Audio, where we teach you how to solve your heat and sound issues. We're keeping the world cool and quiet, one project at a time.
In this video, we'll go over the types of noise, what matters when soundproofing a wall, the steps on how to actually soundproof a wall, and things to definitely avoid when soundproofing a wall.
My name is Hamza, and I'll be your host for today's video. Let's go! So when trying to soundproof anything at all, it's first important to understand the types of noise that are present.
There are two types of noise, airborne and impact.
Typically when you're dealing with the wall, you're most often dealing with airborne noise. So this is noise from a TV, people talking, or a loud piece of machinery on the other side of a wall.
Now, occasionally, you also might have impact noise.
And this is from something against the wall directly, creating vibrational noise through to the other side of the wall. Next, let's talk about what a basic soundproofing construction looks like. Imagine two solid, well-sealed barriers with an air gap in between them filled with sound absorption or batt insulation. In this basic soundproof setup, when sound hits one side of the barrier, because that barrier is well sealed, less sound is actually able to go through. With a setup like this, we can expect an STC-33. Well, first you need to understand what's important and what matters when soundproofing a wall. The first thing that matters when soundproofing a wall is having well-sealed barriers. No matter how dense your barriers are or how beefed up they may be, if you have holes in your barriers, sound is going straight through. It's important to understand conceptually that sound behaves a lot like water. And so when you're soundproofing anything, imagine you're trying to fill that environment with water. You don't want any leaks or anything because sound and thus water will leak straight through those gaps. So you definitely want to seal up everywhere you possibly can to prevent any sound leaks. Common places for sound to leak would be electrical outlets, vents, and where your wall meets your floor. To seal the gaps in your wall, use acoustical sealant caulk. Next, you'll want to address the weak points in your wall. These are typically your doors and windows. These are definitely weak points that sound is able to come straight through because these typically aren't well sealed in a wall construction. For doors, you'll definitely want to upgrade your door from a hollow core door to a solid core door. Then consider getting one of our door seal kits. For premium door soundproofing, look into our SoundLock soundproof door. For window soundproofing, you'll want to get one of our fantastic frame window inserts. For premium window soundproofing, look into our True Acoustics soundproof window. The next thing that matters is the size of the air gap in between the two well-sealed barriers. The bigger the air gap, the better soundproofing performance you'll achieve. The next thing that matters is how isolated the wall is from the structure. With a well-isolated structure, this creates fewer contact points for sound energy to travel from one side to the other side, boosting soundproofing performance. And the last thing is using batt insulation or sound absorption material to fill the cavity. So here's the most common steps we would recommend to anyone in order to soundproof a wall. First is tear down your wall such that the studs are exposed. Then you'll want to screw RSIC-1 sound isolation clips directly onto the studs. Then you'll want to put batt insulation or some other absorption material to fill the cavity. Next, you'll want to snap in 25 gauge hat channels onto the clips. Then you'll want to screw a 5/8 inch layer of drywall directly onto the 25 gauge hat channels. Lastly, you'll want to seal any gaps with acoustical sealant. This setup will give you an STC rating of 55. Now, if you don't feel like tearing down your existing wall, then look into our RSIC retro clips. Depending on your exact assembly, using our retro clips will give you an STC up to 53. It's still pretty good. Now that you have a basic idea of soundproofing, let's talk about what not to do when soundproofing a wall. You definitely don't want to put acoustic panels on your walls and ceilings thinking it will soundproof. These are not made for the purpose of soundproofing. These are meant to absorb sound within a space, not block sound from going from one space to another space. That's a common misconception we get all the time. Now that you have a soundproof wall, you're right on track in order to soundproof the rest of your room. Watch this video next in order to learn how to soundproof your floor and ceiling. Thanks for watching.